Good morning. Once again, this is Matthias Chang from Future Fast Forward. Today in my address to you, I want to focus on two issues. The first one has been the continuing expose about how global terrorists are financed by international agencies like the Mossad, CIA, MI6, and the rest of other intelligence agencies, and financed by Middle East governments like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Turkey, USA, and UK. In the second part, I will address issues concerning Malaysia, especially the impending financial chaos that will follow as a result of the financial chaos right now unfolding before our very eyes in Europe and America. In my last address, I brought to you and to your attention a very critical intelligence document, the report by the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, headed by then former General Michael Flynn. Today I will expose to you what is very startling to most of you, especially Muslim brethren and sisters in Malaysia, that the computer of Prime Minister Netanyahu, Chief of Staff, Mandi al-Salfadi, was hacked. And what was discovered was a shocking truth, the whole truth, the ugly truth, and corroborate what I've been saying, that Israelis, the intelligence services, are behind the financing of ISIS. Now, there's a lot of confusion about the resistance in Iraq and Syria against foreign forces, the US imperialist forces, the UK colonial forces, and Mossad. So how can they then be financed by the same powers? Likewise, to clear this confusion, I want to explain to you, I support the Palestinian struggle for independence, for self-determination against the Israelis and the forces behind Israel. And I have sacrificed my time and my personal freedom and safety to help the Palestinians in the heroic struggle against Israel and the powers behind them. But that doesn't mean within the struggle of the Palestinian people, within the armed struggle of the Palestinian people, there are not rogue elements who are supported by foreign powers, who are victims of foreign powers, who are collaborators of foreign powers, so as to launch false flag operation to discredit the integrity, the honor of the heroic Palestinian struggle. Likewise, when the United States of America, led by war criminal Bush, and now exposed in a true court inquiry, war criminal Blair, these so-called radical Islamic groups led by ISIS have now subverted the struggle by the genuine patriotic forces in Iraq and Syria against colonial imperialist forces. That's why it's very important to understand, right, and be clear in your mind the confusion, the fog of war as to who are genuine rebellion against foreign forces and who are rogue elements financed by foreign forces. With that clarification, I want to go back to the first part of my address to you, the further expose of the Mossad and Israeli forces behind ISIS. There you have, please focus. The Chief of Staff of Netanyahu, whose computer was hacked, shows very clearly. Alright? And that chief of staff name is Mandi al-Safadi. The hacking of the computer of this arch criminal, Mandi al-Safadi, also showed that Qatar and Saudi Arabia are the principal financial supporters of the Syrian terrorists in the cover of Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Okay? There's another person that was exposed in this computer hacking. The person called Muhammad Al-Khatif. And he was the link between Al-Nusra Front and Qatar. Al-Nusra Front is another name for Al-Qaeda. As I said to you earlier, Al-Qaeda is a creature, a construct of the foreign intelligence services. Even though many Muslim countries have supported the insurgencies in Afghanistan against colonial forces. But distinguish between genuine patriots and scoundrels, rogue elements within the resistance. Another person you must bear in mind is called Omar al-Haji, and he is the ISIS religious official in Raqqa province in northern Syria, who at one time had intelligence links with the Turkish intelligence services, who at one time collaborated with the USA, UK and Israel. Alright? And there's an analysis called Hissam Shoaib, which says that the methods used to empower the Takfir system of ISIL are similar to the Zionist system that created Israel by terrorizing the Palestinians, and the method of slaughter, torture, is based on Talmudic rituals and the global Zionism rules. Talmudic ritual basically means the holy book Talmud. In that holy book, so-called holy book of the Jews, Zionists, there are very detailed rituals. Okay? And these rituals are now copied by rogue elements in ISIS. The slaughter, the torture. To prove that the computer of the chief of staff of Netanyahu has been hacked and penetrated, this picture shows, okay, the computer of that collaborator, that criminal. You see? It's a picture of him with his two sons. Alright? Download it if you want to show to your friends and your relatives how this man, the chief of staff of Netanyahu, is complicit, okay, in backing ISIS. This is his passport. Alright? So we are now identifying the culprit in no uncertain terms. This is another picture of him. Make sure his face is tattooed in your mind. Another picture of this criminal with his boss, the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu. You got it? Okay, focus on this. And then you have a picture of the same criminal with his Muslim collaborators. Again, make sure this picture is tattooed in your mind. And finally, if I may, I will now very quickly show to you the emails, exchanges, the transcript that was hacked in his computer. Okay? 1. Two. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. And last page, 8. So now I have given to you more than conclusive evidence of the deviousness, the evil of the Israeli forces using Muslims to kill Muslims and diverting the struggle, the genuine struggle of Muslims, patriotic Muslims in their respective countries in the Middle East against the evil forces from America, from UK, from France, and worst of all, Saudi Arabia, led by the Wahhabist cult, Qatar, Turkey, Kuwait, UAE. You have heard recently that there was a coup attempt against President Erdogan of Turkey. Prior to this coup, he was up to his eyeballs collaborating with President Obama, the former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and subverting the genuine struggle of the people of Syria by transporting and allowing ISIS elements moving from Turkey into Syria and across to Israel, supply arms to ISIS, and then treating the wounded from ISIS back in Turkey, and then diverting stolen oil via oil tankers shipped via Turkey for export to finance the ISIS struggle in Syria, the rogue elements. As a result of that so-called coup in Turkey, it's now believed by many that President Erdogan may have changed his mind and realized that he was a stooge, a mere pawn by the USA, UK, and other forces. So be aware that there are many things happening in the world. It's very complicated, but I will do my best in the time to come to clarify for you so that you Muslim brothers and sisters in Malaysia will be clear in your mind as to how Islam is subverted. You as Muslims have been subverted and will be diverted to the wrong path. Bear that in mind. Now we'll come to the second part of my address to you this morning, which I'll bring up to you, up to date with you, for you, what's happening in the global financial situation. Since the great chaos, since the great financial tsunami from 2008 till now, every central bank in the world, without exception, was told by the Federal Reserve, Fed, of United States of America to follow their modus operandi, to suppress the people, to enrich the 1%, and to destroy economies which are in resistance to the Washington agenda. And he did this by massive printing of money, digitally or otherwise. And this massive printing of money has been referred to in many ways, in many forms, one of which was quantitative easing, QE. It doesn't matter that you don't understand technical terms, but grasp the essence that what they are doing is massive printing of money because debts, global debts, and debts in America has grown so much that they cannot mathematically repay those debts. So they have to print money by way of quantitative easing, a technical term for what we laymen call money printing. Alright? Just like, right, when you borrow money, it's a loan. In the layman's language is IOU. And this is famously made famously by Bernanke, the former chairman of the Federal Reserve. He called this helicopter money. Helicopter money. Money falling from the sky. Okay? This was a term used by his policy of printing money and having zero interest rates or negative interest rates. The equivalent in Malaysia under the Najib regime is cash is king. I repeat, cash is king. And bring the form, giving money to the public, okay, doesn't really help you at all. It's to give you an illusion that the government supports you, that the government is helping you to overcome inflation. But giving money in itself is not a solution if the fundamental basis, the foundation of the economy, which rests on misguided policy, is not being addressed. Okay? As a result of money printing, what happens in America is that the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve, okay, has skyrocketed from 900 billion to over, I believe, 4.5 trillion as of 2014. That's the amount of money they're printed digitally or actually, right, to give a false sense of illusion that the economy has recovered and it's growing. But it has not. What this means is that by money printing, what government has done, for example in America, in Europe, in UK and elsewhere, is to use this digital money, computer, to buy shares in the market, to show up the share prices in the stock exchange. That's why the Dow Jones, right, when it was collapsing, they print money and buy the stocks to show and to give illusion that people are prosperous. Share market price is going up. The index is going up. But it's all artificially created by money printing. As a result of this stupid idiotic policy, most central banks and most countries are now in debt, sovereign debt, and these countries cannot pay off the debt, even if further money printing, because the amount of interest to be paid cannot even be paid. If you can't pay your interest, you can't pay the principal sum. And the only solution which they are now contemplating is war. War will be unleashed, right, to divert the attention of the people from the debt they are facing, from the collapse of the economy, and so that they can then wage war against another country or against Islam to divert your attention. Okay? Because what we have here is, after helicopter money comes war. This is a guarantee. I'm not trying to put fear in you. I'm trying to warn you. In the history of every empire, history of every war, alright, before the unleashed global war, the economies, the countries that were engaged in war went through very depressing times, economic failures. So given that now the major economies of the world, the major banks are bankrupt, insolvent, I repeat, the global banks are insolvent, they are bankrupt. It takes one of these banks to collapse and a domino effect will take place. So when the world is in that mess, Malaysia cannot be exempted and cannot be sheltered from that mess. Already we see, as a result of this crisis, oil price has collapsed below $50 per barrel, from the high of $100 over per barrel. Now it's hovering over around $40 over. I can tell you, the price of oil will not go up to $100 per barrel. Given this fact, you recall 1.5 years ago, when the price collapsed, the former minister in the PM's department, White Omar, and the treasury official says, oh, don't worry. The fall and the collapse of the dollar price of oil will have no impact on Malaysia, will have no impact on inflation in Malaysia. Guess what? Now we are suffering. Petronas is in dire shits. Petronas, the anchor that will support the economy of Malaysia, that supports the revenue of the government to finance its policy, is now totally in a mess because of the price of each barrel of crude oil is now less than $50. It's hovering around 40 to 45. At that rate, the entire oil industry will collapse. With that, the anchor of the Bumiputera company economy will collapse. So what are we going to do? And today, let me tell you, none of the members of the Najib cabinet knows what to do or how to address this issue because they are too preoccupied in supporting a criminal regime. They only care for themselves, their pockets, and their stomach. So let me tell you, alright, do not believe anymore in the economic policies, the forecast of the regime. We are in shits. That's why I keep on saying our country is broken. And if the Najib problem is not resolved by 2016, by end of 2016, we are finished. In more ways than one. We don't have the time to repair the economy and the system, the financial system of our country. Why? Now, if you don't believe what I say, fine. But just pay attention. Google to one of the speeches made by the Republican nominee for president, Donald Trump. In one of his speech during his campaign, he kept on saying, America is in shits, the bubble will burst, the financial bubble will burst because America is in debts, can't repay its debts, and therefore he says he wants to make America great again, bring back jobs again. And he said more importantly, that he hoped The crash will come now. Now. Not in 217 or 218. The crash will come now, even before the November election. These are his words. Google it. He's hoping the crash will come now, before the November election, before he becomes the president. Why? It's because if it crashes now, then we all know, and he knows, and every American knows that the crash is a result of the failed policies of President Obama, the failed policies of Hillary Clinton, and the failed policies of the former President Bush. So that he can then take steps to recover when he becomes president. And because the mass media controlled by rogue elements, if the crash comes after he became president, he will be blamed for the crash. Because when he takes over, anything happens after he takes over as president, he's responsible. So he kept on saying, I hope that the crash will happen now. That shows, he's not saying if a crash comes. The issue is not if, but when. That means it's imminent. The financial crash is imminent. And he's going to the extent of saying, please happen now, so that he can address the issue and not be blamed for something he did not do. Listen to his speech. It doesn't matter whether I support him or don't support him, whether you support him or don't support him. What is important is to listen to the message. And his message that the collapse is coming has been echoed and corroborated by none other than a former chairman of the Federal Reserve, Alan Greenspan. He said the crash will come anytime and it will devastate the global economy. And guess what he says? The only answer is a gold-backed system of all monies, a new sound financial system backed by gold. And he advised Americans to start accumulating gold. And I've been saying that for the last 3 years. And people in Malaysia laughed at me when I forecast various collapse of stock markets and economies. People laugh at me. But let me say to all of you, every forecast by me has been accurate, spot on. But each time when I'm spot on and accurate, the central banks change the rules. Alright? So when you change the rules, that doesn't mean I'm not correct. It's like, for example, a football match. I scored a goal, but the referee says, oh, no, you didn't score the goal. There's a new rule that says that you must score the goal within so many yards from the goal post. I scored a goal, but said that goal doesn't count. Likewise, each time when I say something has happened, I say the gold market was manipulated, they laugh. I said the silver market was manipulated, they laugh. I said the interest rates were manipulated, they laugh. I said the currency market was manipulated, they say I'm joking, I'm talking rubbish. Alright? I'm a conspiracy theorist. They laugh at me. Today is proven. Hong Kong Shine Bank, Goldman Sachs, RHB, Barclays Bank, Deutsche Bank, all the major banks were involved in the manipulation of gold market, silver market, currency market, and interest rates. To the extent the former Attorney General of USA says we can't even prosecute HSBC, who have been charged with manipulating gold market, interest market, and the currency market, because to charge them and to convict them, it may cause the collapse of the bank, and therefore the system is collapsed. Meaning, the law doesn't apply to all these big boys, the big banks. You steal $10, go to jail. They still destroy economies, steal and destroy countries, steal billions. And the Attorney General of US says, we can't prosecute them. Therefore, am I right to say there are two standards? One for them, the rich and powerful, and one for us. We must obey the law. We must follow the law. But they say, I am not above the law, I am the law. This is their motto. I am not above the law, I am the law. How disgusting. Alright? And even the Attorney General has said so. In the case of Malaysia, no crimes is committed. In the case of America, Eric Holder says, I can't prosecute. I can't even prosecute Hillary Clinton for subverting, by telling, by exposing top secret information in a private email. Won't touch her. She's only extremely careless, extremely reckless. No offense committed. We all know offense has been committed. So it's very important that given this current state of situation, you and your family must prepare for the financial doom. Our country is slipping very fast. Alright? Going downwards, and we're heading to the precipice. Almost now 1 foot away from the edge of the cliff. If no one pull us back, no one pull the country back, we will destroy ourselves. Okay. You can have two choices. After listening to my address, you can say, Matthias is talking rubbish, he's a conspiracy theorist, he's not an economist, ignore him. Or you can start preparing for that eventuality, for crisis. I'm not here to convince you, because there are many friends of mine throughout the world who agrees with me, who are reputable people, economists, lawyers, financial analysts, who are advisors to governments. Alright? I'm here doing my duty as a fellow citizen, as a friend to all of you. I'm the messenger. Listen to the message, but don't kill the messenger. It's my hope and my prayer that if you listen to my message, take it to your heart, you will save your family, your children, and your friends. Ignore my advice, or ridicule me, and make a joke out of what I say, you'll be in big, big trouble. And I can't help you anymore, because you have been forewarned. But more importantly, be taking effective measures to protect yourself and your family. As I said repeatedly, time after time. Surrender to the will of God. Surrender to the will of God completely. Has absolute faith that He will protect you, defend you, and guide you under all circumstances, in the face of all enemies, adversities, so that you can survive. We are in a very dire situation. Okay? Why? Look around you. You're not blind. Our leadership is a mess. Our economy is shit. System is breaking apart. Why? Because the majority of our country, whose leadership has even betrayed them, has let them down, has not woken up. For some strange reason, maybe for pride, misplaced pride, they refuse to take action. And I said so many times, please, to my Malay and Muslim brethren, in your hands lies the future of Malaysia. In your hands lies the future of your family, your children, and your grandchildren. Please wake up. Do your duty as a citizen. Uphold the rule of law. Fight injustice. Fight criminality. Fight against scumbags, financial rapists, and do what's right, because the final judge will be God Himself. Sin no more and move forward. With that, I thank you once again for your attention. And hopefully by next week, I have more information to share with you and help you move forward. Thank you.